All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Charles Thompson. I'm one of the field leaders here at Powur. Honored to be with you today to share the business presentation about Powur. And we're going to dive into some of the training and next steps that now when you see the business, how you can actually launch into business. What we want to do is really kind of define what Powur is all about. And if you haven't heard about us, our business model is very unique. Unlike most traditional solar companies, we firmly believe that the individual seller, that's you, that's me, I'm a field representative just like you, we are the most valuable person in solar. And when you get a chance to see the financial aspect of this, you'll see exactly how we are rewarded and we get the greatest benefit. Of course, that's beside the customer, right? The customer is the most important in the overall equation. And what I like to do is compare us to a couple of different category creators. If you think back in time when Uber was created, we didn't know there was a problem in the taxi industry. It was just what we had. So we accepted that. Uber came with a concept to completely create a new category that has changed not only the taxi industry, but rental cars, the way that we travel, when people socialize, when people go out drinking, no longer have the liability of having to drive home. So it's really made it much easier, just an app, an experience that is a much better experience. The real estate industry faced the same kind of category creator with eXp Realty, where they're a virtual real estate company. And what they do is they allow people like us to sell real estate and also to refer other people to use their platform to sell real estate. And they do everything virtually. They share a portion of their revenue, whereas other companies are always just on a flat commission or they're on a profit share. eXp changed the game and has blown up literally in a very positive way in the real estate space. I can compare a whole bunch of online type. Costco's got the online, Amazon obviously has completely changed the retail world. You know, the day and time that we live in right now with the virus, I'm ordering my food online. Don't have to go anywhere. Don't have to worry about being exposed. So it's just a whole different experience. And that's what I want to point out is companies that create categories and they're first to market really change an industry. You know, you don't think about when you say Uber, you don't say I'm gonna take a Lyft or the other 100 different competitors came out and eXp Real, they're all the same way. That's what Powur has done to the traditional solar industry as we know it. And what we've offered to our each of us get access to is the wholesale cost of goods. Now you hear terms that probably haven't heard before. Cost of goods is a new term as part of our category creation. And what we get access to as consultants is the wholesale cost. And I'll just break it down in real simple terms. If you have a sale, that the cost of those goods, that's all the equipment, the installation, the labor, the racking, everything that it took, the permitting, the design, everything, financing was $25,000 and you sell it for $35,000, your revenue would be $10,000. That's pretty clear. In most traditional solar companies, the company gets 70% of that revenue and you may get 20 to 30% on a commission. That's just standard. That is the way it is. Powur's inverted that model and they provide us, the seller, with a 70% margin. In this particular case, that would be $7,000. Powur gets $3,000 or 30%, but they take half of that and they give it back to anyone who wants to refer other people to use the platform. So it's a game changer and that creates passive income. So we have active income, that's the selling portion that we do. And then we have passive income if you desire. There's no requirement to do that. You don't have to recruit people. You don't have to train them and manage them. Your only responsibility is to refer them and plug them into the system. Over time, if you want to take more of a role of a leader, then that's available to you. A very simple concept. When you refer someone to use the platform, you get 20% of the revenue that Powur keeps. Doesn't come out of your 70%. That comes out of Powur's 30%. And net number on this is 6%. So you get 6% of the total deal, but it's 20% of Powur's revenue. So think about that. You not only get the best commissions in selling, now you can have passive income through the platform. And it's so beneficial that you can obviously assume that some people are going to do the same thing. Some people are going to refer others to use the platform. And that's where you get what's called leveraged income, more passive income. And you can leverage that down as many as 6 tiers or 6 generations or 6 levels, whatever you want, terms you want to use. Some of those will reverse, some of those won't. Again, there's no responsibility or obligation for people to do that. When you do that, now you can look at how the numbers come out. On your first level, that's anyone you directly referred to Powur, you get on average $600 override on their sale. Again, this doesn't come out of your commission. This comes out of Powur's revenue. And when they refer somebody to use a platform, they're going to override their success, and so are you, to the tune of about $300. And that goes generationally down 6 levels or 6 tiers. Passive income. Many of these people, William and Edgardo and I were just on a road tour in Florida, and there's people who we're receiving passive income on for the past year that we met for the first time, which is really the true benefit of the platform. I always call Wednesday morning my wake up money, right? That's when the team commissions come out. I always love to look at it and go, okay, good. That covers this expense, that covers that expense. You know what I'm saying? It's something you don't have to really do. You don't have an obligation to train those people or manage those people. We like to go on the road to meet those people, and part of that is training like we're doing here today, but that's something that happens over time. From there, we recognize, because of just the explosive growth that we've seen, I got to tell you something, we're in some very unprecedented times. This whole world is really kind of on pause right now. We're breaking records. We're breaking enrollment records of people coming into Powur, and we're breaking sales records of people enrolling customers into solar. One of the reasons is this mentorship program. When you start with Powur, your first 3 projects are done with a certified mentor who has been trained, who understands not only how to enroll people in solar, but how to leverage the platform. If you're a solar pro, it's just your first contract. But if you're a non-solar pro, it's 3. And we want you to have that experience. Some people go 10 deals because they want the experience to be able to just be set on a path to success. And this really is a path to success. Now, in most solar companies, traditional solar companies, you would get a $150 or $250 stipend on your first 3, 4, 5 sales. Powur pays so well that they split the commission 50-50. So you really have paid training, a 50-50 commission split between the mentee and the mentor. It is a game changer. And it's really what has made this company take off. And we have seen 10x growth in 9 months. We're growing 20 to 30% month over month. We're already, even with what's happening, we're looking at 30% growth this month. We're halfway through. We never know what's going to happen in these next 2 weeks, but we haven't seen it have an impact on us in a negative way because we shifted to a virtual environment. And I'll talk about some training that I'm doing on that with this team tomorrow. I'd like to introduce a couple of fine gentlemen who I mentioned I was on the road with here and have them share a little bit about a day in the life of the mentor. So Edgardo, I'll start with you. Edgardo and I have known each other for about 4 years now. Worked together in the very early stages of Powur. Powur used to be a lead generation company. And over the last 2 years, we've transitioned to a sales organization. And then here in the last year, we transitioned to the cost of goods model that you're hearing about today. Edgardo's had some tremendous success. So Edgardo, I'd love to have you share a little bit about the day in life. And then William, I'd like to have you do the same if you would.
Hey, good morning to everybody. Can you see me? I mean, I was trying to download the presentation. Can you guys see me?
I gotcha. Yep.
Perfect. So good morning, everybody. I see there's a lot of people that were in Florida last weekend. Well, actually, last week we had a great time. There was, even with all this situation that we are having about the coronavirus, I see that more people are getting into our business. And as Charles says, it's been incredible. Not here being able to develop a solar empire or 1,000 people in my team. You got to get to be friends, really good friends, not only with other consultants like Charles Thompson, William Contreras, I mean, many others. Not only that I've been able to go back and work with good friends from childhood like Manolo Vardeguez and others. Yes, it's been a great journey. This started totally different, as Charles mentioned before. We were only referring, and now we can make 6, 7, 8, I mean, $15,000 per deal. So it doesn't matter if you're not in Powur or you're new, there's a great chance for everybody to do it. Yesterday alone, we closed 3 deals on Zoom. That's really good for one day. Tuesday 1 and Monday 3. So this is great. Now with this era, don't be scared. Now you get stronger than ever, because as you know, these challenges will make you stronger. I know that Powur, and you're in a position that people need what you're seeing here. I highly recommend to everybody, call your customers, talk to them about, this is the best time to move away as much as you can from the grid. Like William says, he's calling everybody and telling, you know what you rather have? Be dependent on the grid, which you never know what could happen to that, or have your own power plant. It's been a great journey. We can make the money you want, getting all these trainings, have all your people in all these trainings, train yourself, be humble, learn from the best, and I'll see you on the top.
And the money's not bad either, right, Edgardo? You're now in your brand new home, which you just purchased here last officially.
With this, yep. And with this, I've seen months, I've seen weeks of, $25,000, $30,000 weeks. Hopefully, this month is going to be strong. And I mean, we're selling a lot. I mean, all our team members are pushing hard. New members like Fernando Alegre, everybody here are working hard, making it happen. Nobody should be discouraged about the situation. I know there are hard times, but I can see a lot of people. I gave a presentation yesterday to people that, from other industries like car industries, they're really worried. I mean, probably they're laid off already. They cannot open the dealerships. Here, look, we're in business. As soon as we finish here, we're going to have the Spanish presentation for everybody. If you have guests, invite them at noon for Texas time. Eastern Standard Time is going to be at 1. And invite everybody for Monday at noon in English and Spanish at 2 o'clock.
And I'll show you all those details at the end of this. So if you're not following the different meetings, I'll recap that and show you exactly where to find those. That's awesome. Thanks, Edgardo. Much
Thanks a lot. The money's great. Work hard and learn from your sponsor and your mentor. Doesn't matter how you know something or not, you'll learn pretty easy with someone that already has experience.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Charles.
Thanks, Edgardo. Mr. Contreras, who's living on life on the beach. I mean, come on. You might have to hit your unmute button on your side. There you go.
All right.
Another just wonderful benefit of what we do, the friendships that we have. We were just traveling in Florida. Hey, even with all the hype that was out there, we had a great time, not only in the trainings, but social time, and we become great friends as well. So William, a day in the life, share your story.
Yeah. Well, my experience and my story is real. Yeah, it's really good, because let me tell you about me for the people that don't know me. I was working for Coca-Cola that before. I was doing Coca-Cola, working 60 to 70 hours a week. That's more than 200 hours a month. But the only thing I had a lot of limitations in my job, because it not let me go, forward in my life to buy a house, like do something different. When I found Powur, I think I found the perfect way to get your dream gone true, because now, before we was living in an apartment with 2 bedrooms, we had 3 kids, and it's no space in there, right? Now we have a big house. We got 4-bedroom house now, and we buy new cars, and we change the lifestyle completely in just a couple months, because everything happened in March 2019, when Powur launched this, what we have right now. You know, everything changed in months. What I can tell you, we enjoy this business really, really, really good. When we was in Florida, you know, it's amazing. Like the October when we was in December and when we came back, how growing they have Florida is keep growing more and more and more. What I can tell you, if you new in this business, you don't need to know a lot about solar. You have to learn. You have to be coachable. But this program, the mentor program we have, is going to teach you how to do a sales with the experience of other people, other mentors. They already walk to the succeed in the business, and you don't have to worry about it. I see people outside, how I have to do this. You don't need to know. Just follow the mentors, okay? And duplicate the knowledge they have in your business. I prefer get 50% of $7,000 or get 100% of zero, okay? Trust me, that's the best way to do it. Edgardo, I love that man. I love Edgardo because he teach me all what I know about this business. I come from Coca-Cola. It's nothing to be with panels, okay? He teach me everything. And I follow him. I remember when he closed the first 3 deal for me with the iPad. I say, Edgardo, you know, you do it. And we closed it, and look what happened with my life months later, okay? And we want the same for you. We want you change your life. We want you get results, and we want you impact other people's life, okay? See you on the top.
Well said, Mr. Contreras. Outstanding. All right, so that's just, there's many other people we can bring in here, but I want you to just kind of get an idea of the program. That's two of our finest mentors. We have several others that we have in the Dallas market and all throughout Texas, Florida, California, all the markets that we're in, you have mentors who are accessible to you. So from there, we look at active income, you look at passive income, which is the organizational side of things, referring people to platform. Powur took something from EXP that I really love. They want us to be owners in the company. And so on your first install, you get 100 stock options. And anyone you directly refer to use the platform, they're going to get 100 options. And then you're going to get 50 options on top of that. So now you have a way to build not only passive income, but this is potentially generational changing income, especially if you hit the performance goals. 25 installs in a calendar year, that's 1,000 options. 50 in a calendar year, that's 5,000 options. And since you're with us prior to us going public, you get the ability to purchase discounted options. I think it's 80% of the par rate. Now, I'm not a stock advisor, but I would tell you, I've run a number of national companies, from NRG, a $14 billion company, Direct Energy, a $17 billion company. Solar City went through $6 billion. None of those three companies made profit on rooftop solar. They could not figure out how to control the cost of acquiring contracts. We came along 5 years ago, bootstrapped the business. Jonathan Butt, our CEO, put $1 million into his own money. We raised through friends, family, and an online funding campaign, $10 million all told. That's what we've invested into the platform. And we've been profitable for the last 2 years. We just reinvest that into technology. What is that story going to look like to Wall Street, and what that can do to the value of your options when you convert them to stock? I mean, the likelihood, in my opinion, is, and yes, we have some craziness going on in the market right now, but it's going to turn around. And when it does, our value could be 3, 4, 5, 600 times the exercise option. And that can be a major game changer in your ability for wealth. We have a platform of technology that's unlike anything in the industry today. Imagine if you put the customer's information in, as William and both Edgardo said, you don't have to know much. You just have to get enough information on the customer, their name, their email address, their phone number, and a copy of an electric bill. And then you submit it, you get a proposal back in 30 minutes that tells you everything about that job site that you need to do. You do not have to know how to design a system. It's all done for you. The project teams manage your entire contract portfolio under one roof. You don't have to worry about, if you're in the solar business, having to manage other solar installers. That's all done by the team. And we get paid daily. For every contract that we've generated, we get 40% of the revenue, typically about 7 days after we've inspected the job site to make sure it's compliant. And then typically 7 to 10 days after the system's been installed. Those two payments, once you fill up a pipeline, you're gonna have steady cash flow. It's paid daily. Power gets the money from the lender, it's in your account that night. And if you're or happen to referring people to use the platform, team building, organization building, we get paid weekly, every Wednesday. That's why I kind of joked about Wednesday wake up money. Our footprint is in 20 states, and we'll go back into the growth mode. At one point, we're in 43 states when we were just referring to solar companies, but once we went into the sales model, we really kind of laser focused on these states: California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and Florida. And these are the markets that we get our best pricing. So when we get best pricing, we get the best revenue share. These other markets are great. We just don't get as high of a revenue share because those companies are doing the installs and buying the equipment. Power's not. In California, Texas, and Florida, we just became, in the last month, the general contractor in California and Texas, and opening up in Florida here in the matter of a couple of weeks. That gives us another anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 additional revenue that we get to split with Power, because everything that they do drops the cost. So as Power grows and gets contracting in more and more roles, then we get the lion's share of the benefit. And I've never seen a company do that. When they make more profit, that they actually pass 70% of it on to people like us. So with that, I'll wrap up the business side of this, and I'm going to dive into training, and then we'll have a wide open Q&A session. So you've got the 70-30 revenue share over that cost of goods or wholesale cost. You get 6th level of revenue if you decide you want to refer people to use the platform. You have the opportunity to have equity in the company through the performance goals we said. And you can liken this to a business opportunity, to a franchise, to whatever you want to say, but you don't have to have a business license. You operate under Power's business license for a simple $99 onboarding fee. And then all of us, since we're getting 85% of the revenue that comes into the company, we actually pay to the technology cost. So as imagine what we have right now, 3,000 plus people, closer to 4 probably. As we get to 10,000 people who are funding the technology, the things that we're going to be able to make this technology do, it's already mind-blowing how it is different for the industry. It's going to just get even better and better and better. So you might be looking at this and say, well, what are the steps? What do I have to do to make the transition from sitting here today looking at this business? And this is also speaking to people who already know this business. We want to simplify this and really show you the process. It's 5 steps, 5 very simple steps. The first is you go through an hour to an hour and a half course, depends on your pace. You take a test, we call that our learning management software. Then you go through a live daily coaching session. We have them every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes 2 a day. You attend those live and then start submitting leads. You can submit leads before going through the training because the platform, once you're certified to use it, you can use it. Whichever order you do that, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is you select a mentor. And we always recommend you work with someone who's close to you or who referred you if they are a mentor or someone within that organization. But you have the right to choose anyone you want to work with in the mentorship role. Get on our Pioneer Facebook group and get to see some of the success stories and choose who you want to work with, but try to keep that as close to your organization as you can. And then the 5th step is basically just continue to do the same things. Repeat the process over and over again until you become a mentor. And that is a career pathway, 6-figure income pathway in the company. Now, you might be saying, how do I start? Well, the only thing you really have to know how to get started is how to get leads in the system. So I'm going to go through a very simple 5-step process for getting leads in the system. And the first step is present a homeowner with an opportunity to get a free consultation. You do that by having a conversation. Start with people you know, right? You're not pitching anybody. You're not selling them a product. You're offering them the ability to save a lot of money. So have a casual conversation. And after that conversation, just ask a really simple starter question. Have you noticed your electrical bills going up over the past few years? Everybody's experiencing that. Texas wasn't seeing that up until a few years ago, and that's one of the lowest cost energy markets in the state. Now they're seeing it. So everybody's kind of experienced that. And of course, they can say, yes, I have. Or they're not paying attention, one of the two. Say, well, so have I. I've been witnessing the same thing. Now, step two, did you know I recently started with a company called Powur? I posted that on Facebook the other day. And now, with Powur, I'm certified to help homeowners like you evaluate if solar is right for your home and could save you potentially $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on your energy cost. So if it didn't cost you anything out of pocket, would you be open to at least taking a look at how you can save money? And then let them answer. Then you get into dialogue. What are your thoughts about solar? Have you ever looked into solar? You don't want to look like you're pitching. You're just having a casual conversation. Make notes of what they say. So when you put this lead in the system and you give it to a mentor, you can tell them the things that you picked up in that conversation. That helps them tremendously. And whatever, just listen to what they say. If they don't think it's going to work for them, then we'll talk about handling objections and all that. That's not for today's call. But the simple steps. So step 4 is getting an electric bill. This is an important part of what you do. An easy question to ask, do you happen to know what you pay for a kilowatt hour of electricity? Most people don't know what a kilowatt hour is, so they don't know. Say, well, what basically a kilowatt hour is just a measurement of energy. It's what you, much like a gallon is a measurement of a liquid. And what we want to do is we want to be able to take a look at how much you're using so we can design your system. And if they don't know, perfect opportunity to say, grab a copy of your bill and I'll walk you through how many kilowatt hours you're using and how much you're paying. Just use it as a way to get them to listen. Grab a copy of the bill and let's figure out what you're paying. And then you can look at the bill. The simplest way that I break down the bill is just take the total cost of the bill, everything that's electric, and divide it by the number of kilowatt hours that they've used. In this case, it's 3,828. And that tells you what the kilowatt hour rate is. And it's just, that's how you educate them. Here's what you're paying. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how much you're going to save because we're going to produce energy for you over a long period of time at a much lower rate. So go ahead and grab a copy of the bill. So that's the whole conversation. There's different ways that you can look at it. If they haven't given you the bill yet, other ways to say, so look, if I can save you tens of thousands of dollars on your energy cost with nothing out of pocket, would you be open to at least looking at a savings report? Sure, great. Give me a copy of your bill. No matter what you got to do is just keep coming back to get that bill. That bill is a commitment on their part. What we're looking at on the bill, just so you know, is 3 things. Two is actually on the bill, and the third is we're going to look at the home. The first is we're going to look at how much energy they use, so we know how big or small the system's going to be. That'll tell us how much it's going to cost. So if somebody say, well, how much does this cost? That's a great question. I don't know what it's going to cost you until we know how much energy you use, because every home is different. The second thing we're going to look at is how much they pay, so we can determine the savings proposition that they're going to have over the life of the system. And then the third thing we're going to look at is their roof. We're going to look at whether they're even eligible. There's 130 million single-family residences in the United States. Currently, 90 million of those are eligible. So you don't want to waste their time if they're not eligible. You don't want to waste your time because your time is valuable. The bill is a really important part of eligibility. And you can explain the purpose. And by the way, I will make sure that I post a link on our Facebook group to this training in PDF and the recording. So if you want to review this and kind of go back over some of this data, just get on our Pioneers group to where we had this posted, or get with the leaders who are in your team and get a copy of that. So again, however many times you have to ask, get them to get you the bill. If they're in front of a computer, they don't have a copy of the bill, say, great, you do online billing? Simply when you log in, go click View Bill, opens up a PDF, and then take a picture of that, send it to me. Boom. So 5 simple steps, and then you'll lock them down. Let's lock down a time so we can set up to have you take a look at your free solar savings report. Try to get that done in a 2 to 3 day period of time, because get them while their peaked interest is there. And those simple steps, just repeat that and capture the information you need. So this business really gets down to 2 things. 2 things that we do. We sell solar. That's the #1 priority in our company. And you are the #1 most rewarded person for doing that. The second thing we do is we find others and we refer them to use the platform. Those are the two things to succeed. And you can have them watch a video similar to what we have here today. You don't have to pitch somebody. You're not recruiting somebody. You're just referring them to use the platform. And the people who do these things the best, two great leaders on this call today, William and Edgardo, are great examples of winning and having passive income, but also selling. All of us, I love to sell. Try to get 2 to 3 sales a week because that's the number one thing we do. Number two thing is we refer people to do the same. So what I would task you to do is when you get in this business, we're going to open up for questions here in just a few minutes. So I'll cover a few training topics. Just give you a simple task. I call it the 5x5 and 45. So when you finish this call and you enroll, or even if you're here and you're just restarting your business, because some people are, we've changed our model so much, then think of it this way. Put enough leads in the system. And it could be 5 leads, it could be 10 leads, it could be 15 leads. It depends on the quality of your leads to generate 5 contracts over the next 45 days. And then parallel to that, find 5 people who you want to refer to use the platform. So your active income is what you're doing when you're putting leads in the system. Your passive income is what you're doing with those who you're referring to use the platform. Task yourself to do that in the next 45 days. Look, if you're really moving kind of slow or transitioning, you can take whatever amount of time you want. I just want to task you with doing something that you can hold yourself accountable to. 5x5 and 45. And that will fill your pipeline with anywhere between $60,000 and $80,000 of income that you can do with just 2 hands. Think about it that way. And that's more than the average American makes today. Never mind what's going to happen after this experience that we're going through. Then just repeat that process until you've found yourself at whatever income level and you know what to do from there. But don't think big picture too much. Just think 5x5 and 45. Now there's some great training that you're going to have access to because you're part of this group that we're bringing in. You go to solarexcel.com. That's a training course all about solar. So if you don't have experience there, that's a course that's worth $799 typically that I've sold it for. Edgardo, William, and I, and others have collaborated on solarteam1.com. A lot of those assets are in Spanish as well. So if you want to have access to a combination of English and Spanish, go to solarteam1.com. And that's a gift to you for being with us in our training events, for being with us on this particular event. Take advantage of that offer. It's a great way to boost your knowledge. The other thing I want to point out to those, once you come on board, or maybe you're already on board, is things that we've changed in our platform. This Powur Resources section is brand new. So if you log in and you scroll down the bottom here, look at the Powur Resources. When you click on that, I'm going to show you a sample of what it looks like. You have an abundance of training material. Don't get too tied up looking at too much of it, but any consultant trainings we've done. Somebody messaged me yesterday for a cut sheet on a panel. I said, go to Powur Resources and click on panel. Click on PDF, click on the Mission Solar Panel, whatever one, and it's going to direct you to where those files are. It also talks about how to become a mentor in a mentorship program. Just a lot of other really great tools that are available to you now in your Powur login. Lastly, there's a couple of training sessions coming up. Tomorrow, I'm going to be focusing on helping people sell online. Edgardo, myself, and William and I started this a couple of years ago and really have created a solid online strategy. Right now, people are a little intimidated to have you come into their home. We don't want you to wait. Edgardo mentioned 3 deals yesterday via Zoom. So we're not holding back. Again, we're setting records today in our growth. So that training is tomorrow. I'll show you where you can find all these trainings tomorrow and Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern on both days. Now, the others are, was a road tour scheduled for next week that we've had to change our strategy because of the virus. And now we are doing them virtually. So on Monday, we're going to do a focused event for Dallas. You can see the times here. And there's a calendar that I'm going to show you to get all these details. So I'm just giving you the visual right now. Tuesday, we're focused on Houston. You can see the times, the English version, the Spanish version. Wednesday, we're focused on Austin, San Antonio. And Thursday, we're doing the Rio Grande, that's McAllen and Laredo. And then on Saturday of next week, we're going to do a 2-hour training that's going to dive deeper in English and in Spanish. So think about that. Over the next 10 days, I mentioned the 5x5. Everything that you need to really master that is going to be covered in these different training events. There's going to be a mini training event throughout the week, and then a nice 2-hour training event that's not for recruiting or referring. It's strictly training. So take advantage of those great opportunities. Go to powurcalendar.com, P-O-W-R calendar.com. Every one of those events that I mentioned is listed there. You can click on it. You can get the graphic. You can get the details that you need. So if you weren't taking too many notes and wonder, okay, which ones, how do I get them? Powurcalendar.com is where everything is listed. That's where we put all of our events. They're immensely beneficial to have in that manner. And each of you are able to see that. Also, all the different, you can see I mentioned have sometimes 1, 2, 3 sessions in a day. These are all the training events that we do via Zoom. We can do a lot via Zoom. So with that, I want to thank each of you for participating. I'm going to shift to questions in just a moment, but I want to speak to an audience who may be listening to the recorded version. Get back to the person who referred you to listen to this presentation, get your questions answered, and get their link and jump on the training. That's really the process. It's super simple. And then plug in. You can see the steps. Everything is just 5x5 and 45, and there's 5 steps to having a conversation about getting electric bill uploaded, and the best is ahead. I'll stop the recording and then we'll take questions. Stand by.